Greetings. Today I want to speak to you concerning how masturbation for manifestation works. And after this video, I'm going to do another video concerning why masturbation for manifestation works. And the very first thing you have to discover is that the word sex must be understood on all three levels, which is the physical level and the psychological level, and also on the spiritual level. Okay, now, when you understand the inner working of alchemy, or the science of how to transmute your sexual energy. Okay, it's very windy. I'm waiting for the wind to calm down just a little because I want you to get everything. Okay, make sure you have your pen and your paper. Okay, because I want you to get everything. Because I want you to take back your power. Okay, they've been controlling your sexuality for hundreds of years and keeping you in idolatry, having you looking outwardly. Okay, and having you living in guilt and shame and doubt and fear and so on. Okay, so as I was saying, when you understand the inner working of alchemy and how to transmute your sexual energy, you will realize that the very first thing you must know about alchemy is that it entails purification. Then secondly, from purification, you must become God by realization, which is self-realization. Okay, so let me first deal with the cleansing process first, because if you're gonna use masturbation for manifestation and you still have guilt, shame, judgment, condemnation, and you still believe that there's some higher power in the sky or some higher power outside of yourself, and you're still using terms like the Most High, and you're separating yourself from the infinite intelligence and from the infinite field, the magnetic and electrical field of which you are, which is your true essence, your true self, your invisible self, which is based on energy, vibration, and frequency. For you are a mass of energy, and your brain is only a transmitter and a receiver of frequency. Okay, so unless you cleanse yourself from all the guilt and shame and all the religious beliefs, especially if you grew up like me, believing in secular Christianity that's pointing to look outwardly, and if you listen to the clergy, and if you come from parents who have that same kind of mentality and pass down that same kind of mentality upon you, it's very hard for you to understand how this thing really works, or how this science really works. Now, when you realize that they've been stealing and robbing you of your sexual energy by keeping you in ignorance, you would realize that the same system that encourages you to mark an X, you know, an X represents your Christ consciousness. Do you know that when people say Xmas, they mean Christmas? They're talking about Christ, and Christ is really your consciousness. You know, Elon Musk named his thing X. He get that from Malcolm X. Because Malcolm knew who he was after a while. Okay, that's why they kill him. Okay, so when you understand the Christ consciousness, you would realize that they're robbing you of your Christ consciousness by making you go and mark an X and choosing a side when there's actually no opposition. It's just players in the game, and there are only losers and winners. So like, for example, if you live in a country, let me use my country for example, they have 15 constituencies, right? And all of these constituencies is represented in the House of Parliament by someone. And it could be from this side or the other side. So there's actually no opposition. So when people oppose one another and argue with one another, it is because they still trapped in ignorance of self-government and how to really utilize their masculine and creative, innovative, all-knowing, all-powerful, omnipresent power, which is actually the sexual power. Is the power that I'm using to speak to you right now. Is the power that you're seeing all around you. That's why when I go into the next video to tell you why it works and will always work, you understand? Then you will get it even more. So I am really focusing on how much you need to cleanse yourself. So you have to be able to realize that the pornography industry, which many young men are trapped by, and the OnlyFans industry, all of these things have been legalized by the governmental system. Catch that. And these so-called preachers will tell you to go and vote and get involved. They're encouraging you to sell out yourself short. Give away your energy. Give away your power. That's why you have to be. I'm a conservative. I'm not for any of them. Okay? But I love to look at the game. Okay? Because every game have spectators. You could spectate and enjoy the game. Okay? So me talking about the game and I don't get involved with the game. Nothing wrong with that. Because that's how life is. In every game you have spectators. So yeah, my brother, my sisters, as long as you cleanse yourself from that, you would realize that the dopamine in your brain that is activated to trap you to be addicted to porn and addicted to OnlyFans and addicted to masturbation without a purpose. Once you get the kind of understanding of what I am teaching you here, and you can conquer the shaming game, you can conquer the guilt and shame game because of knowledge that has been shared, like this knowledge I'm sharing with you, then you're ready. And then, in another video, I'll show you how to activate the sexual feeling in the physical, the psychological, and the spiritual. So when I speak about masturbation for manifestation, don't see it on one realm only. Most people only thinking about the physical realm only, but not just the physical realm only. You can activate the sexual energy in the psychological realm too. Okay? Yes, your body will always be involved, but it don't have to always be the one that you know that you see in porn. And let me just go a little bit more deeper into how porn really works and so on, right? These men and women be paying for every scene. Okay, and basically at the end, it's basically always ends in masturbation in one way or the next. Because what they're doing, they're actually selling this energy, this vital energy, because of lack of knowledge. And that is why they've been paid so much money. It's the same way why Hollywood is paying actors so much money. Because when they get you so involved in entertainment, okay, with the movies and so on, they are actually stealing that energy, that same sexual energy. Because it's the energy you use daily. Every moment of your life you're using that energy. It's at the base of your spine. And that is the same energy that have to go up the spine to blow your crown chakra off. So you could come into the nine power. It's been reflected in nature as a volcanic eruption. The same thing with an ejaculation is like a eruption. Okay? And so, my brother, my sisters, when you understand these things, it will give you a better understanding, okay, of how masturbation for manifestation really works. Okay? So, I would speak to you on how to do it in the physical way, the way you know that every young boy normally struggle with, especially those in church. I think I have a video on that to ask a pastor about masturbation and wet dream. I already did that video. I posted it up, and I would definitely encourage you to listen to it. To all the videos I do on masturbation and so on, I'd encourage anyone to listen to it, because myself as a young man growing up, I struggle a lot in church with masturbation and so on, and with pornography on a certain level. I never was addicted with pornography, you understand? But I had to go through all of that to groom me, to bring me to this place to teach you, okay? And the way how I really overcome that whole thing about pornography and all of these things, and could look at those things and laugh at those things and understand the industries, when I get rid of the same things I'm telling you, you have to get rid of first. All the guilt and the shame and so on, and then you decide to look at one without any guilt, without any shame, without any judgment towards the man or the woman, and you would be able to control the dopamine in your brain. As long as you could control the dopamine, they have no power over you. These people go to all of these concerts with these singers and so on. If they could control the dopamine, they wouldn't have that effect. So once you could control the dopamine, okay, in the brain that it produces through the eye, when you look at things and so on, okay, because it is the doorway to the soul. The eye is the gateway to the soul. So once you start to master those kind of things, okay, then you're ready for the alchemy of transmuting your sexual energy into your reality. Okay, so for hundreds of years, they've been keeping black people in ignorance concerning how to transmute the sexual energy. So they're bringing a bunch of ignorant children into the world, sending them to church. And so a idiot will go with another idiot and bring forth another idiot, because an idiotic man will choose an idiotic woman, and an idiotic woman will choose an idiotic man. That is why people who goes to church will say that they are unequally yoked if you're not going to church with them. You understand? So, learn the power of the sexual energy. And when you learn the power of the sexual energy, learn to use it wisely to better yourself. Not to bring an ignorant child in the world because you're ignorant. And that been happening to black people for so many years. They have sex in ignorance, and they bring a child in ignorance, and the ignorance continue from generation to generation to generation. That is a generational cause. And the preachers can't help you. And then you end up in church, listen to a preacher talking nonsense. And they convince you with marriage, because you never get the right understanding of adultery and fornication. Okay, so if you really want me to go into adultery and fornication and what it's really all about, and to show you it doesn't have anything to do with just physical sex and how we actually living in a sex world, everything here is reflecting sex, giving and receiving. Right now you're inhaling oxygen from the plants, and you're giving back carbon dioxide to the plants. It's an exchange. Everything is a business. Every relationship is a business. Sex is a business. So you have to know what to do wisely. Your sperm or your semen, it's currency. It's energy. You need to learn all of these things. Okay, so my brother, my sisters, it will take me a lot of videos, okay, to really help you with this science, okay, how to transmute the sexual energy, wisely, intentionally, consciously, and become a conscious and a deliberate creator, because that's exactly who you are. You're God in flesh. It is time for you to take back your power and give the preachers and the politicians the middle finger. So, with that being said, my brother, my sister, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you listen to me, what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you, if it really resonates with you and you haven't subscribed already, I'm definitely encouraging you to subscribe, to like, to comment, and to share this video. Also, if you like to follow me on Instagram, you like to follow me on TikTok, you can definitely follow me at Black Mad Guru. If you like to get my books, the links are down in the description. I like to do a one-on-one with me. You can reach out to me for a one-on-one. Okay. Also, if you want to do a one-on-one in a Christian app called Faith, you can do that too. But I teach spirituality there, okay? Because I'm not going to compromise, my teaching, okay? But most of the other people, they call themselves all different kind of name, apostles and prophets and this and that. But I take the opportunity that was given to me by the people who run it, because I believe that they know better. Okay, so if you want to book me there, you can book me there. But if not, and you want to book me, whereby we can speak on WhatsApp or on Zoom and so on, you send me an email, okay, and we will organize that. Also, if you like to become a part of my Patreon community, you are most welcome. And I have a course there for people donating $20 or more. It's called the Inner Sun Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciously. And along with that is a bonus course on self-concept. So my last encouragement is to make sure you check out all of the links that are down below, and definitely let your intuition lead you and guide you into what to do. So with that being said, I just want to say peace, love you all.